right, on killing in the name. We'll be diving into Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac, the prophecy Stevie Nicks wrote before anyone believed what she saw in the spirit. People think it's just a breakup song, but heaven says it's a blueprint for divine justice. God's perfect timing, and the return of Christ's consciousness in every believer who has ever felt discarded. Stevie didn't just sing about heartbreak.
She said revelation in a whisper.
She stood there, rooted like the tree in Psalm 1, while the storm raged and the world said she was finished.
But Silver Springs is the sound of God saying, I will make you see it all with my eyes. Nothing stolen stays stolen. Nothing broken stays broken. Nothing hidden stays hidden. That line, you could be my Silver Springs, is the ache of a soul that knew restoration was possible long before the fruit appeared. That's a Rema word. That's the river flowing before the healing. That as Christ consciousness whispering from inside a woman who refused to collapse when her heart cracked open. And when she sang, I know I could have loved you, but you would not let me. That S, the spiritual warfare every believer feels when they pour love into people who just can't receive it. The enemy's trap is to make you think your love is wasted.
But God says no.
Psalm 1 says, your tree will still bear fruit. The wrong soil simply couldn't hold your roots. Silver Springs is the fight anthem for the ones who tried to love right, tried to fight right, and tried to stand right and still got cut down. But heaven doesn't waste wounds. Heaven weaponizes them. But the holy flip comes when Stevie stares Lindsay down decades later and sings, you'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loves you. People heard bitterness. Heaven heard prophecy. That wasn't obsession, that was accountability. That was the divine echo that says, you cannot outrun what God has anointed. You cannot hide from what you mishandled. You cannot silence the truths you tried to bury. That S.Y. Silver Springs hits like spiritual warfare. S, the sound of the righteous refusing to disappear. It's that. Psalm 1 defiance. The tree doesn't chase the wind. The wind remembers the tree. And that line, time, cast a spell on you, but you won't forget me. It's not about revenge, it's about restoration. It S, the spirit, reminding the wounded that God himself will ensure your name surfaces in the very rooms where you were dismissed. That's divine justice, not petty payback. That's Christ consciousness returning like a tidal wave to reclaim what shame tried to erase. In the kingdom, the forgotten ones are remembered by God first and then by everyone else when the season flips. Stevie wasn't just singing at Lindsay. She was singing through Hymn Street into the heart of every believer who ever felt invisible after giving everything they had.
Silver Springs is a mirror saying, you think your sacrifice was unseen?
Watch what God does with it. And in that legendary live performance, when her voice cracks with glory, it becomes the sound of a spiritual warrior refusing to die in the dark. That's Rema. That's revival. That's the river rising. You see, Silver Springs isn't just a song, it's a decree. It's God saying, what you lost, I will return. What you gave, I will multiply. What you endured, I will vindicate. And when Stevie sings, you'll never get away. She's speaking a kingdom truth that destiny is inescapable. Not by fear, not by betrayal, not by time. A Christ-conscious identity will chase you down until you remember who you were before heartbreak tried to make you smaller. Psalm 1 says, the righteous prosper in everything they do. because their roots stay fed. Silver Springs is that nourishment, that reminder that no betrayal can uproot what God has planted. No rejection can cancel what God has anointed. No pest can poison a future that heaven itself has authored. The enemy wants you to believe you've been replaced. God says you've been refined. The enemy wants you to believe you're forgotten. God says you're being revealed. And the final truth. Silver Springs is a resurrection song. The places where you're dismissed will become the stages where God showcases your restoration. The people who underestimated you will become the witnesses to your rise. The chapters that were meant to break you will become the testimony that builds nations. Silver Springs tells the believer, nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. Nothing stolen stays gone. What was meant for your silence will become the thunder of your comeback. Tonight on Killing in His Name, Silver Springs isn't about heartbreak, it's a battle cry. It's prophecy. It's a promise. It's the river claiming its own. And family, it is your season to rise. Thanks for watching. If this word resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.
She's noticed you before, but she never thought you'd talk. You ask a question and she sighs. She quotes you a number, you reply, you say yes. She takes you to her flat on the corner down the street. You undress her with your eyes as she starts to suck your feet. She's noticed you before, but she never thought you'd talk. You ask a question and she sighs. She quotes you a number, you reply, you say yes. She takes you to her flat on the corner down the street. You undress her with your eyes as she starts to suck your feet. She's noticed you before, but she never thought you'd talk. You ask a question and she sighs. She quotes you a number, you reply, you say yes. She takes you to her flat on the corner down the street. You undress her with your eyes as she starts to suck your feet. She's noticed you before, but she never thought you'd talk. You ask a question and she sighs.
Tonight on Killing in the Name, we are featuring Angel of Goulburn Hill by Slim Dusty and Killing in the Name is where we crack open the dust-covered classics and find the spiritual warfare manuals hiding inside guitar twang and campfire grit. This ain't nostalgia, this is reconnaissance. Angel of Goulburn Hill rolls in like a ghost on horseback. A bush ballad prophecy about protection you didn't earn and mercy you can't outrun. Slim Dusty wasn't just singing about an angel, he was giving voice to that unseen warfare happening on the edges of every long road, dark night, or near-miss moment you walked away from. That angel on the hill, that's the kingdom sniper, Christ-conscious and battle-ready, watching over you when you don't even know a fight is unfolding. That's the Rima whisper in the wind saying, "Not today." That's heaven assigning a sentry to the lonely stretches where the shadows get bold. The song paints it quiet, dust drifting, engines humming. A traveler just trying to make it home. But read the spirit-level subtext. This is a story of a warrior who never lifts a sword, yet still wins battles for you. A guardian who fights off what you never see. A reminder that every believer walks escorted. The same fire that roared at Pentecost shows up here in desert stillness. The same spirit that turned Peter into a lion also stations angels on forgotten highways, ridge lines, and back roads where darkness thinks it has the advantage. Angel of Goulburn Hill testifies, "You've been protected more times than you realize. You've been preserved for purpose. Your calling outlived ambush after ambush. Your story kept moving because heaven fought battles while you were just trying to stay awake at the wheel. So tonight, let this be your anthem. Walk like someone covered. Fight like someone backed by heaven's own cavalry. Stand like someone whose mission is too important to be taken out by some roadside darkness. Christ consciousness don't just live in the spotlight moments. It rules the quiet hills too. And the angels? They stay on watch long after the music fades. Killing in the Name, November 20th, 2025 special thanks. The Meeker Millennials, Hive Mind Social, and all Red DayZee Studios. Family, Luvia Guys, the Meeker Speaker. Tonight on Killing in the Name, we are featuring Personal Jesus. Killing in the Name is how Source showed the real ones, that the songs the world thought were rebellion were actually revelation. Don't believe me? Just watch. Personal Jesus hits different when you decode it through Christ-conscious warfare. The world heard a brooding groove. Heaven heard a battlefield blueprint. That hook, reach out and touch faith, becomes a command straight from the front lines. This anthem is for warriors who've been walking through valleys so dark you forgot what sunlight tastes like. It's for the ones who tried people, substances, distractions, connections. And every one of them came up counterfeit. But then the Holy One stepped into your story and said, "You don't need a dealer. You don't need a savior substitute. You don't need a temporary fix. You got me." Your personal Jesus isn't small or private. He's intimate, infinite, aggressive about your freedom, and absolutely undefeated. This song becomes a war cry because the enemy wants you isolated, exhausted, numb, and faithless. But the king pulls up whispering, "Come to me. I carry what you can't." That's not sentiment, that's strategy, that's spiritual artillery. Someone to hear your prayers, someone who cares. Translation for the battlefield. Heaven ain't ignoring you. Grace ain't blind. Mercy ain't optional. Christ himself stands between you and every bullet the enemy ever loaded. Lift up the receiver. I'll make you a believer. That was the roar of a warrior king, reminding you that belief isn't a feeling. It's obedience in the fire, movement in the valley, breath when your chest feels crushed. And when the darkness closes in, when relapse calls, when shame whispers its old lies, your personal Jesus becomes your shockwave, the presence that shreds chains, the voice that silences demons, the light that exposes every trap set against you. Christ's return is imminent. So stay armed, stay ready, stay reachable, reach out and touch faith. Then swing that sword like you got heaven in your bloodstream.